guys, what's up? Max here. Hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday, and I figured I would do a live. I don't know why I restream every time. Every time I think I got it figured out, right? Like I got it figured out this time. There's gonna be no more mistakes. Restream or they'll just like add like an extra thing. So they just started adding this multi-stream with Restream.io, which I did not give them permission to market their services on my video. So you're gone. Although it won't let me do it now. So it is what it is. So each Restream gets a free promo, whatever. But anyway, I wanted to do a live just for a little bit today. We'll see how long this goes. I just wrapped paid traffic tip number 11. So anybody that's on the lookout for a tip of the day, that's being uploaded literally as we speak. So it'll be up probably in the next 30 minutes or so. I'll drop a link and everyone can check that out and enjoy the tip. Basically, in today's tip, I break down some of our top kind of ad formats. So customer testimonial, carousels, montage ads, all that good stuff that you can check out and enjoy. And hopefully you've been enjoying the tips to date. I know I've had a blast doing them. It's obviously exhausting, right? Like it's not easy work doing these tips like videos every single day, right? It's a lot of work. It's really, really exhausting, but I'm still having fun doing them. And obviously it's creating a lot of content, which is all great and all good, and can't complain there. So today I wanted to share something I think is valuable and interesting, which is, and I guess, and let's see, Michael Christopher said, "You suck. Did you review this one?" I did not review this one, but I reviewed it now. So I don't know who you are, but I'm sure you're an awesome person, and I'm sure you're just like a bundle of joy, and I'm sure you make everybody super happy that spends time around you. But anyway, so this kind of actually, so his trolling comment actually goes really well with what I want to talk about today. And so I do appreciate, I didn't pay him to do that. He's just a mean, nasty person. But it does help me with what I'm going to say, which is, we run a lot of ads, and we run a lot of ads for a wide range of businesses. Politics, finance, all that good stuff. And so for Unicorn Wealth, one of the kind of angles we've been running lately has been recession or bull market. Which one's coming, basically? Is there going to be a bull market in 2017? Is there going to be so yeah, Michael, we can talk all day, brother. If you want to stay on here, I enjoy it. Your engagement just helps the video reach more. So the Unicorn Wealth side, we've been running these kind of bull bear market polls, right? And I think I've shared them in the past on here. And one of the top angles that's performed really, really well is our Trump facing angle. And so basically it's, is there going to be a bull market? Is there going to be a bear market? And if so, is it the Democrats or Republicans, and it's their fault? And what we've noticed, and I'll share this in a second. Let me do a screen share real quick. Let's pull this over. All right, throwing that over so everyone can see the ad over here. Let me know if you guys can see see my screen. If you can see an ad over there, just hit the like button. Let me know that you guys can see it. Drop a comment, so I know that it's streaming and that we're all good. I probably should change my camera too so you can actually see me. That would be good. Oh well, I'll just get rid of it there. Okay. So we look like we're good there. Can everyone see my screen? Let me know. Cool. You guys can see my screen. Awesome. So let's go over here. And so what you'll see here is this individual ad has gotten about 2,400 comments. So it's gotten a ton of comments, right? And we've only spent probably $1,500 to $2,000 on this entire campaign, which includes multiple ads. So the point, though, is not the number, right? The number is pretty crazy. How many people have actually like commented on this? But I spend some time, right? I don't spend a lot of time doing this, but um, I've noticed a lot more in my feed. I've been like seeing what people have been posting and the type of content they've been posting and the engagements that have been happening between people personally, and then seeing what's happening on these ads, and then also listening to what's happening just in our culture in a bigger way, right? So we have a lot of people who are discussing like Facebook needing to be broken up and all the bad stuff that's happening with social media and how it's making us more divided, and that's a discussion for another day. I'm not going to talk about today, but what it's caused me to do is kind of dissect what's happening a little more and dive a little deeper. And when you read a lot of these comments, the one thing that it illustrates, to me at least, and I'm curious to hear what other people think, is that there's no discussion or debate happening anymore, right? Like most things that I see now on Facebook, especially when it comes to politics, when it comes to these ads, like none of these, I've looked through a lot of them. I have yet to see a single thread or a single comment that was like, hey, I think Trump did this bad, and somebody that's a Republican also having like a civilized discussion, right? Where it's not like you are the worst person in the world because of your viewpoint and I'm right and you're wrong because I support this cause and this political viewpoint and ideology. You support the wrong ideology, right? So anybody that's on that side, you are just factually wrong, right? Even though there's no facts in this. All of its opinion, and I'm not going to share any of my opinions today because I want this to stay purely about the issue and not about me having like a side on any of this stuff, right? It's not about sides. It's more of like a high level observation of human behavior and what's happened recently. And so since these ads, and this happened with our Trump coin offer way back when, and I'll go back to my camera so we can see each other face to face. There we go. And while I'm like sharing this and stuff, I'd be curious to know what you guys think. If you agree that there is just a complete lack of communication happening anymore and pure just visceral hate and disagreement, because it's not just these ads, right? So the politics stuff, the Trump stuff, I get it, right? It's a very divisive topic and people are very passionate about politics, but it's become almost this thing where like almost across everything where people are getting satisfaction out of causing divisiveness and like causing these types of heated discussions. And again, I can't say that for a fact, but just based on the volume and frequency and diversity of people that I see posting stuff on Facebook, on social, that are, for a fact that what you are saying is going to piss off about half the people that don't agree with you, but they still post it. And so I guess I think the bigger thing is like understand. This is a genuine curiosity for me. So if anybody like does do this and would like to share their answer to this, I'd be curious. I'm genuinely curious what the purpose is, right? So everything I do, like if I'm going to spend time, right? Because a lot of these people I see that post these on Facebook, these types of like really like polarizing posts. And again, I talk about polarization for ads, totally different thing. Two types of polarization. This is more like negative polarization that's done for a different purpose. I see like people post this stuff and they know like when they do this, they're going to be spending the next day or the next like 6 hours pretty much just on Facebook commenting. Like, and for me, like, I don't have enough time in my day to do that, let alone like would ever want to do that as like a thing. Like, hey, I have 8 hours to kill. I'm going to post this and then spend the rest of the day basically just getting in heated one-on-one comment arguments with everybody who disagrees with me. And so for me, I guess the bigger thing is like, what is the purpose, right? Because after analyzing all of these comments on the Trump ads, the politics ads, the finance ads, the info product ads, like we have a lot of different types of ads we run across a lot of different businesses. I have yet to see, and let me know if you guys have seen this, because I have yet to see this. And I've looked at a lot of comments, right? That one ad had almost 3,000 comments on it. That's just one ad under one ad set and one campaign and one ad account. So we look at a lot of comments. I have yet to see a single person post something and then comments start happening and anybody in those comment threads say, you know what, you made some really valid points today and I didn't think about that. I'm open-minded and, you know, I'm going to rethink my viewpoint. Or, you know, hey, listen, we disagree, but I respect your opinion, right? I have never, ever, ever heard that or seen that in any single comment on any one of these threads. Have you guys? Has anybody watching this video right now, watching the replay, let me know in the comments, ever seen one of these like polarizing posts and threads that I've seen like 10 in the last 24 hours? I'm not even going to talk about the topic because I don't want to dive into a specific. I don't want to make this topic focus because I'm not getting into issues here. I'm getting more about the macro level. It just hasn't happened, right? Have you guys seen it ever where like somebody got into a comment discussion where you disagreed with somebody and you shared all of your best arguments? Here's the data, here's the facts, here's the science, here's whatever. And the person who you replied to, even just like there's two paths. One is just that person saying, hey, I respectfully disagree. Listen, we live in a great country. We live in this world where we have this amazing platform where you can share your opinions and I can share my opinions and we can coexist and we can disagree on things. We can live in this world where, hey, you have your viewpoints, I have my viewpoints. I don't agree with your viewpoints. I think your viewpoints are wrong and they're not my beliefs. But I respect your passion and your argument. Like that has never happened, right? Can anybody can any of you guys say a time when that's happened? Because I've never seen it happen to me. I've never seen it happen in any case. So that's like the most base level, right? Is just being respectful and being human beings, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm not going to be a horrible person and just like shit all over you because you don't agree with me. Basically, because you don't agree with my facts, you are a terrible person, you're wrong, you're an idiot, you're immoral, whatever it is, right? That's usually the response. So let's say just even at a human level, I've never seen that happen where it's, hey, we can still disagree, but we can do it respectfully like adults and be civil, right? That's one outcome. Never seen that outcome. Outcome two, which is definitely never going to be seen, is where you share all of your facts and the person who you replied to says, hey, you know what? You made some points I never heard of before. I never even thought about that. The facts that you raised, it genuinely is something I'm not as knowledgeable about the subject. I kind of am passionate about it, but I'm not as knowledgeable about it. I didn't do the research and I didn't know that and that. So you know what? I think you changed my mind. I'm going to have a different viewpoint now, or I'm going to be a little more open-minded. That's never happened. And that probably will never happen just based on like in this. So Steven said, go look up Dr. Thomas Sowell on Twitter. Civil disagreement happens regularly. I engage in these discussions regularly. Civil disagreement, superpower now. Yeah, so it's I guess it's interesting. So I guess my big thing, and this is me coming from purely just observational, like on the outside, having a lot of data, and I'm a data person, right? So anything I'm saying right now, again, this is why I've tried to not say any specific issues and keep this purely just like about comments and engagement as a whole. I still don't understand the purpose. And I guess that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around and genuinely curious about. Not a negative way, like genuinely curious about is the expected outcome of investing so much time, and not just time, so much emotion so much brain power into something that is not going to change anything. Um, and so I, I don't know what the answer is, because obviously there's going to be people that probably watch this and say, well, hey, well then basically what you're suggesting is if we disagree with something and we think something's wrong, we should just let it be and we shouldn't share our voice. And I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that, like, going on Facebook rants isn't going to change whatever you hope you're going to change, right? There are actual paths to doing what you're talking about doing, and Facebook is not that path. I've seen a few people who I've seen posts about this. Like Alex Becker actually posted a few weeks ago, and I really resonated with me. He said basically, like, if you talk about politics on Facebook, like, you're just wasting your time. Like, literally, you can't change a single thing complaining and whining and disagreeing on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat. Like, your time on Facebook or whatever you're doing in comments, you're not only are you not going to change a single person's viewpoint. We've already seen that's the case. But you're not going to change politicians. You're not going to change laws. You're not going to change anything that needs to be changed to help you in whatever your fight is. And so for me, it's like, sure, I'm willing to invest time and energy into something that I believe in, but I'm willing to do that if I believe that there's a path to achieving a goal, right? So, like, if it's like advertising, if if Facebook all of a sudden, like, shut off my reach and made it so I couldn't reach any of my target customers, and all I could do was spend money to reach people in Indonesia or the Philippines, I wouldn't run ads anymore, because I know that, hey, I could still do it, but nobody that would get my goal accomplished would actually see it, right? My customers wouldn't see my ad, and because of that, I can't accomplish my goal as an advertiser, so I wouldn't do it, right? That's just a rational way to approach things. Somebody see Steven said people hate inflame because most people hate their daily lives and project that emotion onto the internet because there aren't consequences behind the keyboard. That's the other thing. So here's that's a great point, Stephen. So this is what I've also realized about Facebook specifically, and just social media, and particularly looking at the visceral, like the hate on, like, Trump ads and stuff like that. And again, this is not me saying I support Trump or don't support Trump. I'm not taking any political stand here. Zero opinion either way. This is just because we have him in ads we run. And even those ads are open ended. It's not like we're saying it's Trump's fault or not Trump's fault. We're asking people, hey, is it Trump or is it a Democrat? So we're completely playing a neutral, we're taking a neutral stance there. But it's like I've never seen, there's some situations you see some of these, like, rallies in Washington and stuff where things get real heated, but, like, I've never seen human beings um, interact with each other and talk to each other the way they do online, in person, in any other setting. And it genuinely makes me sad, um, and just frustrated, because it's there's so much better, there's so much good that could be done if those individuals, instead of spending their days engaging in these debates that have no purpose, and they'll have no goal and no outcome, actually put that time, effort, and emotion into real things, into actual programs, and actual policy, and actual strategy that could actually accomplish their goals. And so, like, that's why I do have a lot of respect. What I'm not trying to say here is that I think that if you disagree with whatever, right, whether it's a law or a politician or whatever it might be, right, if you disagree with something, I'm not saying don't do anything about it, right, but what I'm saying is, like, I have a lot of respect for, like, activists who actually go, they organize, they put together an infrastructure, they put together policy, they put together plans, they actually create a genuine strategy of how they could potentially accomplish the goal that they're setting out. But that's like a very, very small percent of the people who like to talk about it, right? If everybody who talked about these things actually were part of the activist, like those groups, a lot more shit would get changed, right? It's the same reason why people complain about politicians forever, but never vote, right? Like voter turnout is just at horrible levels. And so it's like, again, it goes back to hypocrisy. I talk a lot about hypocrisy before data privacy. People want things for free, but they don't want the companies to share their data. So that's a big piece of hypocrisy. Like, hey, I don't want to pay for Facebook, but I also don't want Facebook selling my data to advertisers. Well, you can't have both ways, right? Same thing with all these people on Facebook just complaining. It's like, okay, I respect the fact that you have your passion, have an opinion, but do you vote, right? Do you do anything that? And again, people can disagree whether your vote even matters with the way that the super delegate, the way the whole thing's been set up. Now that's a whole other discussion. But like, at least vote, at least show up, at least like do your research and take all the actions you could possibly take, right? But that's not, people don't want to do that because one, I think people are not everybody, but I think a lot of people who engage in these threads care more about the attention than they do the actual reasoning behind why they're saying what they're saying. I believe that 110%. That like people, it's more selfish than like social good, right? It's more like, hey, I want to get 500 comments on a post, so I'm gonna say something polarizing because it's gonna get a ton of visibility and traction, and that makes me feel good. It's the same reason why people care about getting their blue check mark on Facebook or Instagram, and see every day there's a post somebody just celebrating the fact that they got verified on Instagram. And again, none of these things I'm saying are necessarily a bad thing. We as humans, we like feeling important, right? It's natural that, and it's we can't even control it sometimes. They're like, hey, we want to feel important, right? Everybody wants to feel like people care about them and that their opinion matters and that they're as influential as a politician or a mega celebrity. And so it's I don't fault people for wanting to do that, wanting to get the attention and do things that drive attention. What I do fault people for is when they do and say things that they don't believe or aren't they might believe it but they don't actually do anything about it purely for that rush, right? Like Steven says, like the dopamine addiction. Like you and it is a total addiction, right? People are like, when you get and I've seen this because I used to be involved, I used to let this get to me, like with trolls and stuff. When you start getting into those debates on Facebook, right, in your feed, like your body changes, right? You release chemicals. Your pulse starts to race. You release adrenaline. You release dopamine. Like your body changes. Like your brain changes. Like your feel different. You get this high almost of being in that, and people chase that high, right? That's why like going negative gets a lot more engagement and reach for your ads than positive, because negative draws people back to the comment, right? If it's purely positive, people come in, they say, hey, this is awesome, and they leave. They're not going to come back and re-comment. When it's, hey, Trump's a piece of shit and Republicans suck, and you're a Democrat, and you see that was tagging you, you come back and say, no, or you're a Republican, you say, hey, Nancy Pelosi's a piece of shit, and the Democrats are a piece of shit, and they suck. And it just keeps coming back and forth and back and forth. And it's literally just a thread until one of those people goes to sleep. And that's their day. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to share that. I thought it's an observation that I wanted to share because I think I don't think it's good. I think I'm genuinely, there's like, when I see this happening and I see it happening more frequently, like it genuinely concerns me. And as a marketer, it makes me question like my powers. And I mean, I don't want to say like an ego thing, like every marketer, right? It makes me start to question, like, am I doing damage, right? Like by running an ad that has Trump on it or anything like that. Like I'm doing it because I know like that's what gets better CPLs. That's what gets higher click-through rates. But at the same time, it also leads to 2,500 comments from hundreds of Americans who are just ripping at each other. Like it's creating a forum that, again, and our goal here is not to facilitate hate, but it's like it seems almost impossible nowadays to separate the two, to run traffic or to get engagement without pushing that button. And it's a hard line to walk as a marketer. And honestly, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the future holds for social media and for marketing. Maria said, "Dude, it's so funny. I know if I run a Wolf of Wall Street image, it pushes engagement so much more." Yeah, I mean, there are easy buttons to push, right? And I guess that's the thing, right? And Gron said, "You're awesome watching in Sweden right now. I appreciate you watching. Appreciate Matt watching on YouTube." I guess that's the big thing, is like, where's that line drawn in terms of the topics of engagement? And I guess it's also the line that I draw, and this could be, and again, like, I've really made a conscious effort, because I used to, and I still am, like, I still, it's hard to break really deep habits and anger and rage issues we have. But for a long time, like, if somebody disagrees with me, I would refuse to be open-minded. My opinion was the right opinion. My choice was the right choice. And I really, really make a conscious effort nowadays when I'm in meetings. So I do a few things. One thing I do is I almost exclusively talk last. I found that's been really, really helpful. So, like, if we're in a meeting, right? We were in Jacksonville yesterday with a partner of ours, and they're at their office with 8 people in the room talking strategies for the next year. And I was the last person to talk. Like, I always kind of just sit back and observe, and I want to hear people out, because when you talk first, you are saying, this is my strategy, this is what we should do. You're pushing it on people, right? When you talk last, you get to hear everyone's viewpoint. You get to understand where people are coming from, right? Okay, this person thinks this is a good idea because of this and this. This person thinks that their idea is really good because this and this. This person agrees with that person because of this reason, this reason, this reason. And now I can say, hey, I think we should do this, this, and this. That being said, I like this idea. I think this is an interesting possibility. And I find that creates a much, not just a healthier environment, but it also a financially beneficial environment for the company, because a lot of times your idea is not right. And that's a hard truth, right? It's a really hard thing as humans to wrap our heads around, that, like, hey, we're not always right. It sucks. It sucks to say it, right? That we are not always right. That, frankly, a lot of times we can be wrong, right? Especially about certain things that we're not super educated about, right? And so it's challenging. You have to kind of know when to fight your battles and know when to, not fight them. But more importantly, you need to know that, like, I think if you can be aware in the back of your head that, like, okay, I'm going into this, and I'm going into it knowing that the people I'm talking with are all respectful, good people who have like, if it's a business meeting, for example, everyone in that meeting has the same goal, which is to grow the business, right? And in most discussions, right, even if it's politics, right, like, if you're going to vote for let's say there's a Republican and a Democrat running, and you have a Republican and a Democrat voter. Both of those people, they might have different, like, things that are important to them, right? Whether it's the economy or social issues, but both of them can agree that they want the country to be better. They want, the people, Americans, to be more prosperous, to be happier, healthier. Like, there are some universal things that we all want, right? Now, obviously, there's some terrible people out there who don't want those things, but I think we can agree that most American voters, or just people around the world, like, for their countries or their companies, they have a unified goal, or at least a singular goal with different little goals, but the big goal is the same. So I think as long as we can go into meetings or discussions and be cognizant of that, they're like, hey, we're all on the same team here, and we all want the same thing in the end. And we're all humans who have respect. We have our own beliefs. We have our own values. We have our own, whatever it is, like our own personalities. It changes the dynamic of discussions, and it makes discussions a lot healthier, a lot more valuable for both parties. And it's also a lot more likely, from if you're looking at this from a purely selfish viewpoint, it's a lot more likely that you can actually get your opinion, switch people, change people's viewpoints, and get your goal or your action voted on or agreed to if you're open like that, and if you know say, hey, that's a good idea, and you take that person's idea and say, hey, I really like your idea. I think what can make it even better, your idea even better, is if we did this, this, and this, right? Because now it's their idea. It's, hey, we're talking about making your idea better, not my idea and why we should do my idea. Because that instantly puts a wall up, right? As soon as it's, no, you're wrong, let's do this. As soon as that happens in a meeting, what happens? Person goes like this, put their arms back. They're done, right? You are not getting that person to agree with you at all. As soon as you say you're wrong, you're dumb, your idea is stupid, that person will not agree with you. There's not a chance in hell that person can agree with you. So unless your goal is purely just to piss people off, or you just want to vent and rant, which that's okay too. What's up, Blake? How's it going, brother? And again, there's nothing wrong with ranting. I rant a lot, right? So again, all these things I'm saying, there's not inherently anything super wrong about doing them for specific circumstances. But be cognizant of the fact that, like, this is a rant, not me forcing something on somebody, right? And so, because like if your goal is to change people's viewpoints and you come into it saying you're wrong, you lost. And again, going back to that selfish, win-lose thing, like if your goal is to win, if your goal is to, hey, this is my belief and my viewpoint, my strategy, my goal, and I need to get other people to be on board with this, the worst strategy in the world is to go into that group and say, you're wrong. Guess what? Hey, guess what, idiots? There's no excuse for your decisions or your viewpoints. Your viewpoints are terrible. Your viewpoints, you must be morons, right? You didn't go to school. Like, as soon as you do that, it's done, right? And so it's fascinating because that's, again, like, I've watched a lot of really, really smart people who I know that deep down, like whether it's marketers, different people, and this is across years and lots of mediums, like people who know that still let their emotions get the best of them, and because of that, instead of entering discussions in a rational mindset, they just get riled up and they lose focus and they lose their game plan, and they go right for the insults. They go right for the, you're wrong, you're stupid, all the things that people hurl when they're, angry and insecure about their viewpoint. They all of a sudden, it's not facts anymore. It's just like, it was interesting. I feel like the more angry you get in a debate, like in an argument, and the more insecure you get in your viewpoint, like the other person's starting to throw out good points, good data, and you're less secure in your decision, the lower your kind of grade school level insults get, right? So like it goes from, eloquent discussions to, well, I know you are, but what am I? Like, it's almost like that level. And people can see that when it happens, and it doesn't look good for either party. Kwame said, most cases when they're wrong, let them go with their idea. Once it fails, suggest the right way. Yeah, that's again, it goes back to what's the purpose, right? If your purpose is to change their viewpoint, there are a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of ways, but I can guarantee the one way is the way most people are trying to do it, which is jump on them right away. Don't let them think. Don't give them data. Don't give them studies. Don't give them research. Don't plant ideas, and just insult, make them feel bad with themselves, make them feel like they're in this terrible group of people, immoral, unethical, whatever it might be. Like, that's done. But like Kwame said, yeah, hey, if you can have a good discussion, like I've been in discussions with people where I left it and I didn't agree with them, but after thinking on it and after doing my research, I actually changed my viewpoint. That's happened before, and I know it's happened to a lot of people. Um, and again, we look at history. We look at who are some of the best linguists, some of the best negotiators, some of the best marketers, some of the best politicians and philosophers and all this stuff. Like, what did they do? You look at people like Socrates, right? Socrates is probably like, he's the OG. He's the original like NLP marketer. He was doing it all way before those were things. And he was able to get auditoriums of young men who disagreed with him, disagreed with Socrates, to completely change and abandon their viewpoint and take his viewpoint within hours or days. And he did it not by saying, you're stupid, you're idiots for believing what you're believing. In fact, what he would do first is he would put down himself before he even got into it. He'd say, listen, we're about to talk about X, Y, and Z. And frankly, I'm not an expert in it. I don't have all the facts. I don't know everything about it. And, my opinion might not be qualified. He would lower himself, because what happens when you make, like, if I'm getting into a battle and I see the person I'm going to fight is drunk and wobbling, right? And they're carrying a toothbrush instead of a sword, and they tumble over and they're 14 years old, like 90 pounds. What happens then? I let my guard down. I'm like, I'm fighting this? Are you kidding me? This is a joke, right? So my guard's down. So the same thing happens in debates and in negotiations. If I enter the debate as Socrates would do, and I put people down, and I go right on the defense, I go right on the attack, and say, I am the most intelligent, qualified person in this room to debate this topic. I've studied all the books, I know all the data, and this is why you're wrong. This is why you're wrong. Everybody in that audience now they're on guard. They're in their head thinking about, what's my rebuttal? How am I going to get this guy, right? Defensive. But like Socrates would do, if instead I made myself not seem like a threat and more like, hey, listen, I'm open-minded. I think you guys might be right. In fact, all of a sudden, everybody on the other side is like, okay, it changes the entire dynamic. And then he would slowly, throughout the rest of the discussion, start to poke holes in different things. But he would do it in a very subtle way that wasn't argumentative and wasn't like an attack. And he would do such a good job of it that by the time those guys left the talk, they all came to the same conclusion. But more importantly, they came to Socrates' conclusion on their own. So instead of Socrates telling them, this is the idea, this is my idea, all the men that watched, they thought it was their idea, which takes a much, much powerful hold because of that. So I know it's a long rant and long tangent, and it was very good that it started off with this Michael Christopher guy who trolled me in the beginning. So it was perfect. Like, I literally couldn't have set that up better than having just a little person comment on here trolling me in the beginning. So I really appreciated that. And I'm not called today, but I'm actually curious, because I haven't really asked any questions. Like, did everything I said make sense? And this is me being genuinely open. Like, I'm curious if other people agree with this, because again, this is my viewpoint. I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm not saying this is gospel. This is purely like an observation that I've had after looking at a lot of ads, a lot of comments, a lot of posts in my feed, the ones that are driving the most engagement, and just the discussions I'm seeing going back and forth. This is all it was purely just, I wanted to share an observation. But I'm very curious if anybody watching this agrees with me, or if you don't agree with me, like, why not? And what do you think the goal is and the purpose is of posting these types of posts and being so negative and not being respectful and kind of open-minded? I'm curious about that. And more importantly, if you guys did enjoy the video, I would love for you to hit that like button, let me know, show some support there, and share this with other people. Hopefully, maybe a few people that do do these types of posts see this and realize it's not the best way to get their viewpoint across and to indoctrinate people and bring people onto their side and win an argument, and maybe they'll change and do things better, or at the very least just I guess if I could have one outcome from today's video, like one goal, one thing that I'd like to maybe see from this, it would be just more respect online. I would love that. Like, I would love to just see even one comment, right? Out of the 2,000 comments on that Trump ad that I ran, like, I would love to see one person comment, "Hey, I respect your opinion." Like, anything like that would just be nice to see, and just a little less visceral hate, a little less like I want to rip your head off and throw it down a mountain because you're an idiot and I hate you, right? So that's my hope for the world, right? Not world peace, not the typical Miss USA, Miss World answer, but like 1% more respect. That's what I'm shooting for. I have a low goal, right? It's like, I don't want to make $1 million. I want to make like $10, right? That's doable. So let's say, hey, I don't want everyone to be respectful, but if like we can do 1 or 2%, little lift in respect, I think it'd be a lot better of a platform. But you got to dream, right? You got to wish, and hopefully more people will talk about it. I think there needs to be more discussion, more dialogue, more open debate, but in a format that's not combative and that's based more around like just getting to know each other and understanding different viewpoints. That would be pretty incredible, I think, and hopefully that's something that happens in the near future. I can be optimistic about it, but the data unfortunately shows that we're kind of going the opposite direction, especially going to the next election. So we'll see what happens. But again, if you guys are watching this on the replay, let me know what you thought. If you have any questions on the replay that obviously I didn't answer live, drop them below and just tag me so I get notified. Everyone else that's watching live, thank you for checking it out. Thank you for spending your time with me. I'll be dropping paid traffic tip number 11 right after this when I shoot a quick video, but that's live now. The video's uploaded. I was basically just killing time, right? Because that's what all you care about is Facebook ad tips and marketing tips. You're like, Max, for the love of God, stop talking about anything except marketing. I don't care about it. But I had to kill time somehow. So paid traffic tip 11 is dropping in just 5-10 minutes. So be on the lookout for that. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. I hope you have an awesome day. And I hope you just, have more respect for people and just be nice online. Actually, do me one favor. Here, let's do one thing. This would be really cool. Today or this weekend, go onto one feed, right? One ad, one post, and say something nice. Say something nice about somebody maybe that disagrees with you, right? Just one comment, one little post, one comment where you can say something nice about somebody. That would be awesome. I think that'd be really cool. So we'll see. Let's see if we can do that. I think it would be pretty cool if we could. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.